The recent catastrophic earthquake that struck Myanmar and Thailand has caused an unimaginable amount of devastation, resulting in the tragic loss of over 150 lives and leaving hundreds, if not thousands, injured. As rescue teams continue to search for survivors in the rubble, the scale of the destruction becomes clearer by the day. Buildings have collapsed, roads and bridges have been torn apart, and entire neighborhoods have been wiped out in some areas. The earthquake has hit at the heart of both countries, leaving no part of the affected regions untouched by its wrath. This massive disaster is not just a human tragedy, but also an economic catastrophe. The financial toll on both Myanmar and Thailand is extraordinary, as infrastructure that took years to build has been destroyed in mere moments. In the wake of the disaster, roads that connect cities and towns are no longer passable, and bridges that once facilitated the movement of goods and people have been reduced to rubble. These infrastructure losses will hinder the ability to deliver aid to the affected regions and slow down the recovery process. Rebuilding these vital components of the infrastructure will require an enormous amount of resources, which both governments will struggle to provide given the financial constraints they are already facing. The destruction of homes, businesses, and public buildings in the affected areas has left entire communities displaced. Families are living in temporary shelters, and many have lost all their possessions, adding to the emotional and financial toll of the disaster. Local businesses, which serve as the economic backbone of these regions, have been wiped out and workers are left without jobs. The loss of livelihoods will have a ripple effect throughout the economy, as the ability to generate income will be severely limited. Small and medium enterprises, which are the lifeblood of the local economy, will face the toughest road to recovery. The lack of insurance for many businesses and homeowners means that many will not have the financial support they need to rebuild. As a result, these areas may see prolonged economic hardship, leading to increased poverty and unemployment in the coming months and years. The agriculture sector, which is a key component of the economy in both Myanmar and Thailand, has been severely impacted by the earthquake as well. Farmlands have been flooded or rendered unproductive by landslides, and livestock have been lost or injured. This loss of agricultural resources is particularly devastating, as both countries rely heavily on agriculture for food production and export. In the long term, the damage to agricultural infrastructure, such as irrigation systems, will lead to a decrease in crop yields, which will not only affect local food supplies, but also reduce the export potential of agricultural products. The ripple effect of this will extend to regional food markets, leading to higher food prices and potentially triggering food shortages. The financial costs of recovery are staggering. While emergency relief efforts are underway, the process of rebuilding the devastated areas will take many years, and the costs will be high. Governments, with the support of international organizations and aid agencies, will need to allocate vast sums of money to the reconstruction process. This will include restoring infrastructure, providing shelter for displaced families, offering financial assistance to businesses, and rebuilding schools and hospitals. Additionally, funds will be required to address the long-term impacts on the economy, such as supporting agriculture and providing training and resources for those who have lost their jobs. International aid and donations will play a crucial role in helping the affected countries recover. But the question remains, how long will it take for these economies to get back on their feet? The answer depends on how quickly reconstruction can begin, how effectively resources are distributed, and whether the countries can attract sufficient investment to support the recovery. However, The emotional toll on the survivors, many of whom have lost family members and everything they own, will likely be felt for a long time to come. The psychological scars of such a traumatic event can last for years, and mental health support will be an essential part of the recovery process. In conclusion, the earthquake that struck Myanmar and Thailand is a disaster of monumental proportions. Beyond the immediate loss of life and injury, the financial consequences are vast. Both countries face an uphill battle to rebuild their economies, infrastructure, and communities. The road to recovery will be long and difficult, but with international support, careful planning, and resilience, it is possible to rebuild these nations and help them emerge stronger from this tragedy. However, the financial burden of this disaster will undoubtedly be felt for years.